time for an exciting edition of the Property Show. Are you wondering how to be part of the affordable housing program? Sit back. We'll be capturing the journey to home ownership through the Affordable Housing Initiative just for you.
When the houses are under construction, you're also allowed to save towards your home.
Our property pick of the week takes us on a tour with a developer who has partnered with the government to turn dreams of owning a home into a reality.
Private developers have been creating the infrastructure for their developments, but now the government is doing the infrastructure. They are giving us those discounts of or incentives in taxes.
Our expert segment highlights an in-depth look on the sector, signs of recovery with the return of liquidity, and the opportunities to look out for in 2020.
Liquidity come back into the market, we'll start to see people in a better position to be able to borrow, to make their loan repayments, particularly developers.
Later on, we'll be sharing a special hidden gem, a great place you can treat someone special during this month of love.
So I want to welcome everybody to Acacia Premier, and particularly for Valentine. Make sure you do your advance bookings. We are filling up. It's going to be fun. It's going to be lit.
The accessory spot brings latest home decorating and interior design ideas. We'll also catch authentic tips on what you need to know before embarking on the homeownership journey.
Start where you are with what you have. Just start.
Today, we have a packed show. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. As always, there is something for everyone. The season has changed. The government is now partnering with developers to bring affordable homes to life. Today, we highlight an exciting project partnering with the Affordable Housing Program, Moke Gardens, an eco-friendly gated community with scenic views of the Lukenya Hills.
Last year, the government did put an advert in the papers inviting private developers to express interest, those that would like to participate or partner with the government to produce affordable housing. And we applied. We thank God that we were shortlisted. And as I speak to you now, we are partners with the government of the Republic of Kenya to provide affordable housing. The government is going to provide certain incentives. For example, you have seen the access road is challenging, and the road, particularly the bridge, you saw it's quite challenging when there's a lot of rain from Ngong Hills. People don't use that bridge, so they get sort of landlocked. The road itself is not in good state, so the government has promised that they are going to do that. The government had constructed a trunk sewer line, which is about 90% complete. The government is going to complete that. They have already given an undertaking to that effect. Then here, although we have got 2 boreholes on site, the government has also undertaken to supply water in bulk to this place so that the residents will have enough water. And so those are the amenities that the government is going to provide. The government also has done very well. They are giving us incentives to make the houses affordable. Government has waived the requirement for us to pay VAT. They have also given us a discount on corporation tax. The government has also allowed the approval, statutory approval, without us being required to pay fees. These are like NEMA certification, NCA, and others. Even the rates that during the period of construction, they are going to waive the rates requirement. So those are huge incentives, which I think we are very grateful and thankful to the government for what it has done. This is, as you are aware, this is part of the Big Four agenda initiated by the government under the leadership of President Uhuru. And I think it will definitely create an impact, make an impact on society. Those incentives, the discounts we are getting, the rebates we are getting from VAT, will be passed on to the ultimate consumer. I'll give you an example. The cost per square meter, or the selling price per square meter, ordinarily would be in the region of about 70,000 per square meter. We have discounted to come down to about 50,000 per square meter, which is because of the incentives that the government has given. As you will appreciate, private developers have been creating the infrastructure for their developments, but now the government is doing the infrastructure. They are giving us those discounts of or incentives in taxes. That's a huge reduction. Secondly, the financing, the construction financing, has also been negotiated by the government. Instead of paying, say, the high of, say, 14–15% per annum to finance your project, we are going to pay less than 10%. So those are huge incentives. And I think these same incentives have been extended to Kenyan citizens, especially the first homeowners. They are not going to pay stamp duty. They are also going to be given long-term mortgage facilities by the company which the government has put together. It's called the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company. So the rate at which they are going to give the mortgage facility is less than 9%. Surely this is something good. So it makes these units affordable. The apartments, the studio is going for 775,000 shillings. One bedroom is going for 2.2 million shillings. 3 bedroom is going for 3 million shillings. So those are really affordable. The apartments have been subsidized.
Now, let's see what Moke Gardens has to offer.
Here we have already completed some 28 units in phase 1A. Environment is very serene, as you can see. The topography is okay, so we don't have any logging of water. It flows when it rains. You can see the streets are wide enough and enough area for kids to play. This property is 40 acres. So we have another 35 acres to go, which we are going to implement in 3 other phases, phase 2, 3, and 4. We are soon starting on phase 2, then we move on to phase 3 and 4. Within the next 24 months, we should have implemented all that. Within that project or that establishment, we are going to have various amenities. We're going to have a medical center with all diagnostic equipment. We will have a school for the residents. Basically, it's a kindergarten school, call it a junior school. Then we'll have a daycare center. Then you have a commercial area. Commercial area, that means everything that is required by residents should be found there, like banking services, the shops, chemists, and other things normally residents would require. We are now entering the 4-bedroom mansionette with the DSQ. We are outside. This is a place where in the evening, Mzee and Mama, they can sit after a hard day's work. They can have their coffee or tea or relax in the evening. Now we are entering into the lounge. You can see this is the lounge. It is quite spacious, quite long. And you have at the front, there is a dining. The headroom, you can see we created this headroom high enough to bring that cool effect. So you do not have to have your air conditioning because the breeze here is good. And since the headroom is that high, it will be okay. This is the dining area. And to my left is the kitchen. There is an access, a service arch to the dining. Now we are getting into the kitchen. The kitchen is also fairly spacious. You have got all the facilities, place for the cooker and for the sink and the fridge behind me. Outside here, there is Dobby is provided for externally. And to my left is where there is the servants' quarter. Probably I'll show you the guest wing, which is down here. To my right here is the ablution, which is for the guests. And for the guest who is here, you have a toilet and a shower. Then you have here, this is the guest room. It is well equipped with the wardrobes. There is a space for the bed, and it's spacious enough. You can see, as I said earlier, the headroom is good, so it is very cool inside here when you are here. Now, we want to move upstairs. Under the stairs, there is a lot of space also, which you can create into some storage. You can put your shoes there and some other articles, which you may have come with from the market or from up country. Those of us who come from up country, you can see the window is very large. The window is very large, and it brings in a lot of light. So during the day, you don't need to switch on your lights. So as you come upstairs, there is space here. The landing is quite spacious. And now we are getting to my left is the master bedroom. It's quite spacious also. As you can see, it's served with 2 windows, and there is cross ventilation, which is very easy. And you can see there is a balcony, which now enables you, if you are tired in the bedroom, you can always go outside there and have your cup of tea or relax. To my left is a bathroom. There is a bathtub, there is a shower, there is a toilet, and wash hand basin. Now again here is a walk-in wardrobe, and we have given enough space for the residents. Ordinarily we joke, we say that this side, maybe the 2 sections, just a small section is for the mzee, and all these, the rest are for the lady, all these, because the ladies usually have more clothing than wazee. So it is very good. This self-contained, as you can see, and spacious enough. Now in the evening, if you have kids, you can always say your prayers here as you release them to go to their bedrooms. And the bedroom number 1 is here. It is spacious enough to accommodate even 2 beds. Or if you want to do a double bunker, or you can always fix it there. You have enough storage for clothing. And the kids normally have their books, so there is a bookshelf. You can see the lighting is very generous everywhere. It is self-contained. It has got a shower, it has got a toilet, wash and basin. So each room upstairs is self-contained. Let's go to the next room, which is also upstairs. As I said, on this floor, we have 3 bedrooms. You can see this one is also self-contained. The window is large enough. There's plenty of lighting. There is enough wardrobe space. There is also, it is self-contained. You have a wash and basin, you have a toilet, you have a shower. And the headroom is also high. So it's very cool. Even as we are here, you can feel it is very cool. It's very nice. So this one has been done this way, so that those people who come here from Nairobi, when they're staying here, they really enjoy. It's very homely environment.
What makes this project the ideal investment option is, number 1, the offer on the table is quality units at very competitive prices. Number 2, location, location, location. This project is conveniently located just minutes away from Machakos town, home to the Machakos People's Park, and is surrounded by social amenities and education facilities ideal for modern living. Number 3, this development is powered by green technology. And finally, the serene environment. Moke Gardens maintains and enhances the tranquility and serene environment that comes with the site. This concept is articulated with well-manicured and spacious gardens. Indeed, this is the first step towards providing affordable housing with excellent infrastructure at an affordable price. Did you know you too can be a proud homeowner at any of the affordable housing projects? Next, the steps on the journey to home ownership. One of the big questions I'm getting over and over and over: how are you going to select the people who will own these apartments?
We have simplified this because initially we designed a program that was really going to be based on fairness, and because there were many factors that we wanted to consider, we thought that the best way of allocating the houses, like now I have 20,000 who are contributing and all of them are eyeing Park Road, how best is it we should be able to allocate, and we want to be as transparent and want the public to have trust in the process. So, but having gone through the processes and listened to Kenyans, the proposed balloting process became complicated, and it was confused for lottery.
Yes.
So a lot of Kenyans thought, I'm contributing money, if I don't get a house and I lose the money. But what we have gone to now is first come, first serve. And the first come, first serve is very simple. We have given a criteria that certain documents you need to upload. Your profile must be 100% complete, and then you should have raised 12.5% of the deposit of the house where you're eligible for. That becomes the criteria. But because it is system driven, there is a timestamp. There's a timestamp that shows when you registered, and there's a timestamp that shows when you hit your 12.5%. And that then becomes the qualifying criteria.
If that's a criteria, most of the Kenyans can afford this, and they will be able to upload on Boma Yangu portal. How will you make sure that you're giving the people you're building for the houses?
So the first thing that we had to do was to set the parameters. So for example, those who are most vulnerable in our society, those who earn less than 20,000, are prioritized in what you're calling social housing schemes. So if you earn more than 20,000, you'll not be able to buy those houses, because in your application, you need to provide us with certain things, either a payslip, a KRA PIN, and if you're, say, a Mamboga and whatever, you should be able to give us either M-Pesa. There has to be something that supports your income, shows us how much you earn.
Even your domestic house managers?
Even the domestic house managers, they should be able to have a way of being able to verify your income. That's number one. However, number two, if it becomes difficult to do that, remember we're giving you, when the houses are under construction, you're also allowed to save towards your home. So that saving, the consistent saving, also is able to give us your profile, because then we're able to, you say you don't have a bank account, you're not getting paid by M-Pesa, you're paid cash. There should be a way in which then you're depositing the money and we are able to get your profile. So we have put a considerable amount of thinking into how we come up with a very fair system of allocation, because for us we believe that this is a Kenyan program, and they must feel that they own it, and everybody must feel that they don't need to know me for them to have a fair shot at owning this house.
Bwana PS, we've been waiting for this. Can you please assure Kenyans that it will be fair, that everybody will get their house, not because they know you or myself, but it will be a fair process?
You know, my own mother asked me that she wants to get a house, and I told her that I have no capability of being able to allocate her the house. We completely disempowered ourselves, because we felt that as long as there is human intervention, there will be somebody who's going to come with a special case, with these, it's your relative, they've been kicked out, they are out on the streets, and then you start making very subjective decisions. So the system is such that I have no role in the allocation of those houses.
And the system cannot be manipulated?
No, the system cannot be manipulated.
The home ownership journey with affordable housing involves the following steps. Step 1. Visit the online portal. Visit the Boma Yangu portal at www.boma.yangu.go.ke. www.bomayangu.go.ke. Step 2. Register. Begin the registration process by providing all personal details on the portal and upload all required attachments. Step 3. Pre-qualification. Upon registration, you will be required to provide your identification as well as your employment status with your listed employer. Step 4. Begin making your contributions. Contributions are voluntary and require you to save up to reach the target of 12.5% of the value of the house you have chosen. Step 5. Qualification. This step requires you to be registered and verified with Kenya Revenue Authority. A final assessment is done on the prospective homeowner to make sure that you are able to make regular contributions to save for your home. Step 6. Allocation. In this step, you are required to select a house of your choice and the preferred location as per the availability of the house.
Affordable housing program is now a reality. If you have any questions on how to begin the journey, just drop us an email or call us and we'll be happy to engage. Moving on, the real estate sector has seen signs of recovery with the return of liquidity. Let's get an in-depth outlook on the sector and the opportunities you can put your money on in 2020. Last year, the real estate sector went through a fair share of highs and lows. Today, we speak to an industry expert who breaks down what we should expect in 2020. Karibu sana on the show.
Asante sana.
Give us an overview of the real estate market today and how you see it play out in 2020.
Okay, well, as you say, 2019 was a tricky year, and towards the end of the year, things had got very flat. I mean, to some extent, that is to be expected. As you get into December, people stop making decisions, they start thinking about holidays and so on and so forth. But even going back as far as 2016, it's been very flat. Since the introduction of the interest rate cap, we've seen very little liquidity in the market. So we're hoping, as we go into 2020, with the repealing of that act, we're going to start seeing some more money in the market and we'll start seeing some more market activity. Now, I think that we're already getting early signs of that. We're starting to see more inquiries. The phones are warming up. Certainly we're getting more people interested in property, but the buyers and the tenants are more canny and they're looking for deals and they're looking for either the landlords or the vendors to adjust their prices or their rents. They're becoming smarter, certainly. They're looking to take advantage of where the economy has been for the last couple of years.
And what's your take on the residential market, the commercial market, the logistics and warehousing spaces? What would you tell us about those segments?
There's a lot to answer there. Let's start with residential. I mean, if you look at the newspaper, you see a lot of auctioneers listing properties for sale, and I think that certainly there's been a lot of activity in the residential market where there have been foreclosures and people not being able to keep their loan repayments and so on and so forth. Now, one of the questions that's often asked of us, and you forgive me if you're going to ask me this later and I'm preempting you, but talking about the bubble bursting, the real estate bubble in residential, and I've talked of a number of reasons historically as to why that won't happen in Kenya. The principal reason is the amount of lending that goes on in this market is very small. I think we had 26,200 mortgages in 2017, only went up to 26,500 in 2018, so still a very, very small mortgage market. So we're not going to see a situation where banks are offloading huge amounts of property onto the market as they did in 2007 in America, which triggered the global financial crisis. The other point is there's a piece of legislation in Kenya which prevents banks from selling a property at less than 75% of the market value, the valuation that they hold in their books. And this is a very interesting piece of legislation, because in other parts of the world, banks can simply dump property, and they can't do that here. So if they can't find a buyer who's prepared to pay 75% of the value of that property, they have to hold on to that property, which means they have to work extra hard to get rid of it. And I think that's a very good piece of legislation. The banks probably won't agree with me, but what it means is it does two things. It prevents the banks from simply offloading a property, recovering their loan amount and not worrying about what the mortgagee is also owed, but also it prevents very, very big shocks taking place in the market as well. So it acts as like a buffer to the market. So if the market is falling quickly, the house prices will fall slowly because of this protective legislation in there. So in terms of residential, I think what will happen is, as we see liquidity come back into the market, we'll start to see people in a better position to be able to borrow, to make their loan repayments, particularly developers. Quite a lot of the stock on the market at the moment that's being put out there by the auctioneers and by the banks is stock that the developers have failed to sell and wanting to sell themselves. So if the developers have access to liquidity, to money, to borrowing, they will better structure their development projects, and they won't need to offload these properties in the same way. So I'm hoping that as the year progresses, we'll see less and less of these sheets and sheets in the daily papers of properties being put out there to auctioneers. And I think that's a very good barometer of the health of the residential sector, and also to some extent the commercial activity as well.
What about the logistics and warehousing space? Where are we in that area?
Okay, so the logistics space, we started to see that market gain traction with Tartu City and Tbilisi a couple of years ago. I think the early adopters have certainly taken advantage of that. Logistics is traditionally relatively low risk and relatively low return, but the market has slowed down a little on that sector as well. I still think that's probably the best market for people to invest in. But it has slowed down a little because the people that understand the quality of that space. I mean, if you're paying 35 shillings, $3.50 in the industrial area, why would you pay 80 from 35 per square foot for high-level space? Well, of course, the people that know that space and understand it will say, well, I'm prepared to pay 80 shillings or 70 shillings because I can actually store my produce right up to, very, very high eave space. So effectively, I'm getting three warehouses for the price of one. And I'm on better road infrastructure and so on and so forth. So the people that understand that have already done it, they've already moved, the likes of Unilever and so on and so forth, have taken advantage of new modern warehousing space. So now we've got to the point where the local occupiers are starting to understand the differences, trying to unlock themselves from the industrial area. Maybe they own their premises there, they have to sell it first before they can move. That process is taking a little bit longer. So although I think it's probably the fastest moving sector, with Tbilisi, Tartu City, and now Northlands, which is the Improvon Actis joint venture up on the Eastern Bypass, we're still seeing a lot of activity in that sector, probably more than any other, but it has slowed down a little bit.
What about the affordable housing program? I was expecting that the affordable housing program will get very quick buyers. What's your take?
We're getting there. There are various initiatives that are encouraging or promoting the ability for developers to do low-cost or affordable housing and still retain a profit margin. There are various ways in which that is being done, and so I think we'll start to see that happening. And I think lifting the interest rate cap will also help in that sector as well, where we can start playing around with interest rates, with the cost of borrowing for developers and so on and so forth.
Our viewers would like to know what opportunities are available in the real estate sector in 2020.
I must say, we are optimistic in 2020. Catch part 2 of this candid conversation with a breakdown of opportunities available in the market this year. We are taking a short break. Still ahead, a hidden gem, a great place you can treat someone special during this month of love. The accessory spot with the latest home decorating and interior design ideas. Plus authentic tips on what you need to know before embarking on the homeownership journey. We'll be right back after the break. Don't touch that dial. We are back. You're watching The Property Show. It's the month of love. If you're looking to treat someone special, Kisumu City brings Acacia Premier Hotel, your home away from home choice. The refined Lakeside Hotel offers excellent customer service, convenience, great food, and all the first-class amenities you require in a hotel.
Acacia Premier remains the only 4-star rated facility officially in this region. We continue to take pride in being the best choice for all the business travelers, government officials traveling to Kisumu, and we continue to take pride in improving our facilities and services. As you can see, we are progressing, and the aqua pool and grill is looking more fancy. You can be able to do breakfast meetings like we just did our in-house breakfast by the pool, which was a very good different experience. This is an area now you can be able to do evening dinners, company product luncheons, wedding reception, name it. We are a business class hotel. We have wonderful accommodation facility with a majority of our rooms overlooking the lake. So we are a choice to a business traveler who is coming to Kisumu for a day or two. We are also very big in meetings. We have a conference facility that can do 600, and we can do smaller meetings concurrently. Like today we have more than 4 meetings. We also have wonderful food and beverage outlets. Where we are is one of the best outlets in Kisumu to do an evening dining experience. And we have, as I just said, we have really improved it to look good, comfortable. I think the highlight, not to dilute the year, is the Valentine. It's the first time we are going to do it in this new look aqua pool and grill. And we have planned for some wonderful entertainment, a very wonderful set menu. And you can imagine the sunset taking down as you enjoy your dinner here. It's gonna be fancy. And you can come early and enjoy some massage before you do the dinner. Then we dance our way up to 11 to 12. We remain a facility that is fully fledged with all the services that our guests need. And we make sure that our focus remains the guest experiences. We have made sure that our staff are well trained. We've retained quite a lot of our staff since inception, this being our 5th year now. And that goes a lot to make sure that they also retain most of our guests. We keep saying guests go where they are celebrated, not where they are tolerated. So we not only focus on the service alone, but the facility upgrade, maintenance, we make sure it is top notch. So I want to welcome everybody to Acacia Premier, and particularly for Valentine. Make sure you do your advance bookings. We are filling up. It's going to be fun, it's going to be lit.
Let's shift gears and take a look at latest decorating and interior design ideas.
Have you ever stopped to think about how home decor would look if you were to take a trip back in time in the past decade? Home decor, just like fashion, changes every so often. Here are some of the ways home decor has evolved over the years. The kitchen and dining room. 5 or 6 years ago, the kitchen was an isolated space and the family meal took place in a dedicated dining space, which was almost always in a separate room. Today, a lot of homeowners desire the open space look where the kitchen flows into the dining room and sometimes into the living room as well. The open space look gets rid of the boxed-off feeling of a home and makes a room appear much larger. The current kitchen layout serves as a place to cook, socialize, serve meals and entertain. Flooring. At the turn of the decade, flooring choices included clay tiles, rubber and cork, which were among the top choices for resilient flooring. From there, flowered tiles were introduced and hardwood parquet swept the market in the early 2000s. Now, we have an array of floor tiles, wall-to-wall carpets, laminates, bamboo and hardwood plank flooring to choose from. Ceiling. Over the years, ceilings have evolved to perform more functions than simply facilitating and concealing services. Nowadays, ceilings are designed to provide a wide range of lighting and aesthetic options. There is a move to a more uncluttered ceiling look, proving that less is definitely more. Gypsum, acoustic and translucent ceilings are now the go-to options which transform a residential ceiling or create the desired ambience in a commercial office space. Walls. The previous decade has seen evolution of walls from the glossy paint colors and off-white silk. Today, new trends have emerged including a wide variety of wallpaper and wall cladding techniques, decorative paints, the use of accent and gallery walls to add that splash of personality to the living space. Windows. As technology and industry have become more advanced, so have our designs of windows become more exciting. There are two main window components that have evolved significantly over the past few years. The last decade saw the elimination of curtain boxes with the use of curtain rods, blinds, and gypsum concealed rails taking center stage. Window frames are now larger with very little to no grills. Furniture and fittings. We have finally moved from the centerpiece wall units and butterfly seats from the early 2000s. The late 2000s saw the rise of smart homes and furniture and appliances designed to be adaptable with modern technology. There is a return to environmentally friendly designs as furniture made from recycled materials has become immensely popular. Vintage furniture and furnishings made from sustainable materials such as glass and bamboo have become increasingly common.
On the accessory sports segment, we are always on the lookout for new interior design ideas. If you're innovative and would like to showcase your interior decor edge, let's engage. Next, interesting home ownership stories. How to turn a dream into a reality.
Do not hesitate. That's the advice that I would give to myself at 30-something years. Do not hesitate. Go for it because time is money. And the longer you wait, it'll cost you in some way, shape or form, whether it's in interest rates, whether it's in a higher cost, whether it's, just inflation, things change. So get on, do it today. Pick up the phone, sign it. Because usually I find a lot of people say, I'll wait for the market to change. I'll wait for things to come down. I wait for the bubble to burst. We've been waiting for that bubble to burst for a while now, haven't we?
And the bubble hasn't begun.
And it hasn't, yeah. So the question I have is, if you had gotten in, say 3 years ago at a property that was worth, say 40 million then, now you're probably looking at the same thing, 70, 80. And, so do not wait. Get on with it. Providence financial planning, sacrifice, and making a plan. You can always make a plan. So my parting shot, Nancy, is the following. I saw this quote on Facebook yesterday, and it's a quote from Iman. She sends out words of wisdom. Iman does. Start now. Start where you are. Start with fear. Start with pain. Start with doubt. Start with hands shaking. Start with voice trembling. But start. Start and don't stop. Start where you are with what you have. Just start.
Wow.
One of the things that I have to admit is that as much as it sounds that it was very fast, I took my time. At one point, I had said this market was going crazy on the pricing, and so we had vowed we would never buy a house in Kenya at that price, because in other places you can actually buy a block of flats at the same price. So we said, it took time. We took about a year or so of testing and saying, do we do it, do we not? You would read newspapers and say, if you go in this area, you do get a return on your investment. And so we said, okay, let's now focus.
So study the market.
Study the market, ensure that you will not regret, because we do have people who regret. You go to a far-flung area, your lifestyle adjusts so much, you begin to resent this space. So you find yourself letting the space out or the house out so that you can go back to where you felt your heart wanted. And so do your homework, take time. No one is rushing you. Most of the time, developers are also, hoping you'll come back their way.
Yes.
It's never a rush. It's never a rush. If you find a sale or anything, you can always get a better deal.
Yes.
And so do your homework, compare, make sure that everything checks out. For me, key was children not having to sleep on the road in the morning or sleep on the road on the evening. They leave when the sun is shining. They come back when the sun is shining. So that was key for me. I was happy not to frustrate other people in the family just because of where I wanted to live. I have to admit the conveyancing is the challenge in Kenya. It took a while. It takes a lot of personal effort to follow through on the legal aspects and ensure that someone is taking care of your business, because many other people are using the same people, the same lawyer.
Our turnkey upscale budget solution for modern homes has kicked off. Next Sunday, we begin an interesting story of turning a plot into a home. Gallery, extending your search with other options you can put your money on.
This beautiful 4-bedroom townhouse is located in the highly sought-after neighborhood of Lavington, in a compound of 6 townhouses along Loy Yangalani Drive within Belma Court. Accommodation features include spacious living areas with large windows to let in natural light, spacious well-fitted kitchen, hardwood floors, save for wet areas, a guest room on the lower level, common cloakroom for guests, 2 all-ensuite bedrooms with shower cubicles, master bedroom with a grand bathroom complete with a bathtub, family room on the upper level, detached staff quarters. Other features include perimeter wall topped with electric fencing, 24-hour manned gate, parking space, outdoor wash area, private garden, Cabro-paved driveways.
At First Avenue, we have properties in every price range. Just give us a call and we'll be happy to match your needs. Thank you for watching The Property Show. The clock is ticking. Have you registered for our bus tour? Don't be left behind. Book your slot today and come and interact with experts from the industry. Next Sunday, we continue with experts' insights on opportunities available in the market in 2020, plus top investment options you can put your money on. As always, there is something for everyone. Kwaheri.